deforestation and, in the larger sense, habitat loss, which is driven by how we produce and consume food, is the main cause of this dramatic decline.
For more on this, Marco Lambertini joins me from Gland in Switzerland. He's the Director General of the World Wildlife Fund International. Thanks so much for joining us on the program. First off, how is the data for this report on the loss of nature gathered and measured?
So these are field studies scattered around the world. We're talking about monitoring more than 21,000 species populations in all continents, all regions of the world, and involving more than 4,000 species. So it's a really a large survey, thanks to many, many people that work on the field and collect this data.
There's a lot of dire news in this report. It says the natural world is being destroyed at a rate never seen before. What kind of effect is this having on our planet?
So first of all, this is shocking, this is sad, and this is also worrying. And to your question, the worrying dimension is perhaps a new dimension of the way we look at nature. Normally, when we think about extinction of wildlife decline, we are sad and we feel we are failing our moral duty to coexist and protect and respect these animals. But there is a new dimension coming up, which is about the important, crucial services that nature is providing to us every day, so important to our society, to our health, to our economy, that we are losing as well by losing natural habitats. Think about the pollinators and their role in production of food and agriculture. Think about fish in the ocean and rivers that provide for hundreds of millions of people livelihoods and jobs and nutritious diets. Think about the regulatory role of forest for water, as you can see here in the picture. All this is as a fundamental value for our society, for our economy, and a monetary value attached to it now. There's been a recent WWF, World Economic Forum report calculating that half of the global GDP, $44 trillion, is at risk if services from nature are weakening. And so, it's a serious issue, not just a moral, ethical, but actually also development and economic.
Yeah, and it's clear that nature is all intertwined, but what can we do to stop this? I mean, is there anything that we can do to stop this or reverse it?
So the good news in all this sway of bad news is that yesterday, in coordination with the launch of the report, there was also a study published on Nature, a scientific journal, that shows that we can reverse nature loss by 2030, as early as 2030. And by the way, 2030 is also the timeline for the Sustainable Development Goals that are socio-economic goals as well as environmental, so all integrated. And nature is a foundation for their achievement too. And so we need to focus on sustainable economic sectors. First of all, food production, sustainable agriculture that does not require to deforest large areas of the planet. And it's possible to do that using degraded land, for example, rehabilitating, be more efficient, using less land, less water, less energy, but of course producing the food that we need.
We are in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic, as everybody knows, but the report says if we continue to destroy the natural world, we'll see more outbreaks like COVID-19, and the next pandemic could be even worse and more deadly. So how does the destruction of the natural world lend itself to outbreaks of diseases?
So the link between nature and the human health is powerful. From mental health to more. In this particular case, the World Health Organization has published the data that show that 60% of the emerging diseases with the risk of becoming pandemics are actually of zoonotic nature, means they move, they're transmitted from animals to humans. And COVID is one example, but there are many others in the past. SARS, avian flu, Ebola, HIV as well. So all these are related to a unnatural contact with wildlife that, when infected, then transmits the viruses to us. Two main reasons. First of all, deforestation. Again, here in the pictures. Deforestation disperses wildlife, brings wildlife in contact with humans, and also accelerates poaching and wildlife trade. That is then distributed around the world and distribute the virus as a consequence. And the second one, of course, is the consumption and trade of wildlife. That was most likely the cause of COVID-19 when it originated.
Mm-hmm. So for people who are sitting at home who've seen this report and feel helpless, I know I certainly felt that way when I saw this report come out. What's something that we can do in our daily lives to make a difference?
Many things, and considering we are 8 billion, and particularly in the most affluent societies, we are consuming a lot. Our footprint is very high. We can reduce our consumption. We can particularly focus on food that does not have a high environmental impact. We should discourage, all of us, we should discourage the use of food that has higher environmental impact. And the discussion, of course, goes in terms of moving and reducing the percentage of meat-sourced food, animal-sourced food, versus plant-based food. And I think that's a diet shift that is good for the environment, but also good for our own health.
Okay, that's some good advice there, and we'll leave it on that note. Marco Lambertini, thank you so much.